there. If you don't know who I am, or why I'm dressed like this, or you're still not convinced that Vegeta is the greatest anime character of all time, then follow that link. All your questions will be answered. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy the rest of this Q&A video. I think there were some pretty funny questions asked during this one. I'm trying to think back to all those years ago when I... That's right. This video never happened in my timeline. Because in my timeline, I was too busy trying to save lives and save gains leading the crusade against bro science to be sitting around making silly Q&A videos in my bathrobe. But, to each his own. My man Sam wants to know, would you play Guild Wars 2 with a fan? Dude, I would love to play games with fans, and that's something that could potentially happen on the Twitch page, so if any of y'all are interested in that kind of thing, then make sure to follow me over there. However, it probably won't be Guild Wars 2, or any other MMO for that matter, and here's why. I have serious trust issues when it comes to playing MMOs with people, because growing up, inevitably, every friend that I played an MMO with would have more time to spend in the game than I did, they would out-level me, and then they would act like it was no big deal. What, man? What? I'll come help you level. Okay. No, get the hell out of here. I don't want your help. If by come help me level, you mean you'll come show off all your fancy new moves and your freaking shoulder pads that I can't equip, and you'll one-shot the mob before I get a chance to even enter attack mode, then you can piss right off. You can piss right off. My man Emilio wants to know, when is the flick coming out, and did you adjust your training for it? He's referring to Power Rangers Zenith, the feature-length Mighty Morphin Power Rangers reboot that I've been working on. We've taken a short filming hiatus for the holidays, but hopefully, when everything's said and done, everything will be shot, edited, and released online by the end of 2016. As far as the training goes, I didn't really change my style of training at all. I already have a background in martial arts, so as far as that goes, I wasn't really worried about it. However, my training was affected, and here's why. Playing Jason Lee Scott, the original Red Ranger, meant that I needed to be somewhat lean. He's a pretty big, ripped-looking guy, so I needed to get lean, which means I needed to be in a deficit. And because principal photography, the starting date, kept getting pushed back further and further and further, that meant that my deficit kind of kept getting elongated and slowed down and stretched out in a way. So it kind of put me in a weird limbo for a long period of time that I'm actually still sort of in. Nice post! Listen here, you little punk. No. Don't worry about it, Prince Goro. I got this. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. But if you ever leave a generic, irrelevant, arbitrary two-word answer on one of my Instagram posts again in the sole hope that I'll go to your profile and follow you, I will probably be just as annoyed with you then as I am right now. Take 2 seconds to read my post. That's all I'm asking, Instagram spammers. This is from the Tank Sinatra. Yo, Muscle and Magicka, I'm an actor in New York. I love lifting and have built a nice physique, if I say so myself, but I've gotten too big and I'm losing roles because I'm not believable as that character. Any suggestions on how to restructure my gains? Here's how I'm gonna approach this, man, and this is maybe not necessarily what you're looking for, but this is my philosophy. As actors, it is our job and our privilege to tell stories, okay? And we each have some stories that we can tell and other stories that we can't tell because we're simply not the right type. We don't have the right canvas, okay? I can't tell the story of an 80-year-old black woman. I just can't do it. This is excluding people like Meryl Streep and the Chameleon who can tell any story they want. But if you are trying to change your type, then, you know, losing muscle mass is not a hard thing to do. Personally, I'm not willing to go down that road. At least not yet, okay? I worked too damn hard for these gains. Now, if I was getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, that would be another story. But as of right now in my career, no, I am the type that I am. I say our job is to go in there and convince them that we are the type they're looking for. Because honestly, man, they don't know what they want. When you go into that audition room, they don't have a clue what they want. They think they do. They have a little sheet that says, Caucasian male, you know, 5'11", 180 pounds, but they don't have a clue. And it's your job to convince them that you are exactly what they're looking for, whether or not your stats match up with whatever's on that paper. And if they end up going with somebody else, then you simply have to understand and believe in your heart that they chose wrong. They missed the right one. They let you get away. Sorry if that wasn't really what you were looking for, but if I ever lost a role because they said I was too buff or too fit, then I would immediately dismiss that as a role that I didn't want anyway. Practically speaking, if you really do want to change your body type and lose some gains possibly, then I would say just don't eat as much, do a little bit more cardio as opposed to lifting, and focus less on, you know, progressing your lifts in the gym and more on just activity that you enjoy. You mentioned yoga. I think yoga would be a fantastic solution. Anything that will allow you to increase your calorie expenditure and decrease your calorie intake so that you lose some weight. How many pounds you are trying to gain in your bulk and how many you try to cut out. Because of what I do, I can't really afford to just go by poundages or numbers. I kind of have to go by feel and how I look and how what my body fat percentage looks like. The heaviest I ever got at the end of a bulk was 185, but unfortunately I gained way too quickly and had made me all kinds of chin gains. The leanest I ever was around 160, and that was the end of my last cut. And I was pretty lean, you know, not YouTube fitness standards lean, but relatively lean. J-Mops, proud and loyal Knight of the Order, asks, who are some of your favorite YouTubers, lifting and non-lifting related? Man, I love the Hodge twins. Always been a big fan of Matt Ogus and Physiques of Greatness. Obviously the golden one. Team 3DMJ, 3D Muscle Journey. I love those guys. Outside of the lifting community, I really don't spend too much time on YouTube outside the lifting community. Not nearly as much as I used to. I follow along with Polaris for my gaming news. I enjoy Total Biscuit. OC Remix. Overclocked Remix is a fantastic channel full of beautiful video game remixes. I use a lot of them in my videos. Also, Family Jewels 7X is another outstanding video game remixer slash metalizer, as it were. Speaking of favorite fitness YouTubers, two trap salute to the Trap Lord himself, aka Count Trapula, aka Trapicus Maximus Elgintensity, who asks, after drowning, you were washed ashore. Collie Muscle, dressed in his finest formal attire, i.e. assless chaps and a fishnet shirt, is a few feet away from you. Would you prefer he give you mouth-to-mouth, or would you prefer he leave you to die with dignity? Okay, I got you, man. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go with the mouth-to-mouth. Now, I am banking off of the hypothesis that the stench of Hyphy Mud emitting from his breath will actually be pungent enough to elicit an acute, involuntary reaction within my body that will cause me to actually hack up the water before he gets anywhere near the vicinity of my mouth, so that the actual amount of contact between his lips and my lips will be
0.
Now, if that doesn't work, I would simply poke a little bit of fun at him, hoping that it would hurt his feelings and result in the termination of my life as quickly, efficiently, and tastelessly as it resulted in the termination of your video. And last but not least, the final question is actually a series of questions. However, they are asked by one of the foremost loyal Knights of the Order, Sir Alexander, and so we're going to do a speed round. You ready, Prince Goron? Alright, 3, 2...
Hey, Rich Piana is no laughing matter. It's Rance, which is actually short for ransom. Not likely. I don't want to get lean enough for bodybuilding and my joints are too achy for powerlifting. 27? Roughly since high school, on or off. You know, I don't really know. I've never actually tested my maxes. It's not something I really concern myself with. As far as bicep curls are concerned, as much as my ego will allow. I would say my knowledge on lifting came from a large amount of personal frustration and lack of progress, which then led to a large amount of personal research, and of course also the National Academy of Sports Medicine. Well, for me, of course. I think we covered that one. It was a high school friend, actually. Well, namely because I am in fact a mulatto whose name is Rance. However, it's also been my gamer handle for as long as I can remember. I say go for it. If you're worried about stunting your growth, don't. However, injury is still a very real possibility, so make sure your form is on point and, you know, make sure that training volume is appropriate. Fine, as long as you don't give really bad advice or go out of your way to tell anybody who doesn't look like you that they're betas. Lifting-wise, my goal is to have a Vin Diesel physique. He's somebody that I compare myself to. Obviously, we've got the same skin color, but we also share the same terrible ab genetics, and whether he's natural or not, I think his physique is one that is attainable natural in the long run. Outside of that, I just want to keep on spreading the light, my friend, and touching and influencing as many lives as possible. I haven't played it yet, and what I think about it is that the only reason that I want to buy it at full price and play it right now is because of all the hype. Not great. I've got a decent i7 2600 CPU, but I'm working off of an older, like, GTX 470 graphics card, I think? Almost never. Not at this current time, no. Sandoria. Sometimes Azeroth. Sometimes Tamriel. Mostly Indiana. What's he talking about? What cardboard cutouts? No more than 22, that's for sure. Elgin, will you get this one for me?
0.
And those are all the Q's and A's we've got today. Thank you to all the proud knights who submitted their questions. If you have further questions, feel free to keep on leaving them on Instagram, and perhaps in the future, we will have more Q and A's. You missed one. You're slipping, old friend. Why do I always look so juicy in the mirror, but like I don't even lift in pictures? Well, Rune, the way I see it, there are 3 options. 1, your friends in the pictures are out-angling you, and if they're intentionally out-angling you, they're not your friends. 2, you're closer to the mirror than you are to the camera. Maybe your mirror's in a bathroom or some other location with flattering overhead lighting. Chances are it's in the gym, and you're juicy because you just finished a workout. 3, your mirror is a lying, sniveling coward that's only telling you what you want to hear and showing you what you want to see. In any case, Rune, I think your best bet is this. Just start taking all your pictures in the mirror. Now, what was that quaint little outro I always used to do? Until next time, stay vigilant, knights.